Man, oh man, I haven't stood in front of a rail in quite a minute. Now, I know that it's a bit different to what it used to be, but who knows, perhaps I'll put in a curtain over here so then you don't get to see what's behind the glass wall. But for the time being, we're gonna have to adjust to it. Yo, what up, hey, how you doing, guys? My name is Sangiev, and today we are back with another video. Now, as you can tell from the title, we're gonna be answering two questions that I get asked a ton recently. Question number one is, what are your most recent pickups? And question number two, since there was a huge hiatus in me posting, it's more along the lines of like what I've been up to, what I've been doing. So I figured I would hit two birds with one stone and show you guys what I've been up to. Now, to answer question number one, they're both kind of tied in together. To be frankly honest, there hasn't been too many pickups. Now, if you've seen any of the videos that I've posted, whether it's on Instagram or even on YouTube, a big topic or theme of my current state of mind towards consumption is to just slow down a little bit. I've been selling a lot of my wardrobe, really condensing everything. That is also partly due to the fact that I've got my own brand, and basically any bits of money that comes in, I would rather just invest it into the brand, create new pieces, make samples. And so for that reason, there hasn't been too many pickups. And question number two, as to what I've been up to, I figured I would take this opportunity to show you what we've been up to, and this can count as a pickups because technically these are all new additions to my wardrobe. So can we blag it like that? I think we can. With that being said, let's just jump straight into it with item numero uno, and those are the, let me see, oh, look at that beautiful focus work. These are the Raja loafer. Now, ever since, actually that's a lie, even prior to the Riot release, I knew that I wanted to do a loafer, but I figured, you know, as your first foray into footwear, you might as well go with a bang. Hence the Riot boots. They're big, they're chunky, they're loud. And we basically did a complete 180 and went for something extremely subtle and minimal and clean, while still retaining elements of Sangiev to it. A little bit of whimsical, a little bit of magic, a little bit of crazy. That is the Raja loafer. As the name suggests, a lot of the inspiration were pulled from my South Asian heritage and culture, in particular the shoes that were worn for traditional events, be it weddings or ceremonies or anything that was to do with traditional wear. We were wearing a shoe that was fairly similar to this. And to basically give you the quick synopsis, in any sort of Tamil events, let's just say a wedding, in the morning we would have the traditional element, so with the priests and the traditional garments, and in the evening it would be more like a party with the reception, think suits. And we always used to bring two pairs of shoes, one that could be worn with the traditional garments and then one to be worn with your suit. I kind of wanted to bridge that gap and create something that would tie in both ends. It can be worn traditionally, but also can be worn with a suit and a bit more of a formal thing, whilst also wanting it to be a shoe that can be worn day to day, be it jeans, be it with shorts, be it with trousers, you name it, it can be styled with it. And so we cooked up the Raja loafer. Now I have to hide ever so slightly behind the shoe so that the focus remains on it, but full grain Napa leather, this beautiful, really wide opening, which is, you know, the wilder side of these loafers, at least in my opinion. We have a 40M heel with a lovely little notch, also known as a gentleman's corner. If you don't know what that is, it was basically a little technique that shoemakers did when doing formal wear shoes. Now these were typically worn with big trousers or suits, and businessmen, when walking or when sat down and they would have their legs crossed, the fabric of the trouser would often get caught here, which would basically have some unnecessary tears. And so they just used to just notch it up a little bit so it's smooth here, trousers don't get caught, there's no unnecessary tear. And I thought that was a really nice nod to how shoes used to be made. Now my favorite element of this loafer is the collapsible back, so then it can be worn as like a mule, as a loafer. The back panel is lined with suede, so then it holds onto it without it basically sliding all over the place. Now that is that. We have a few sizes left, I believe. Delivery is due in the first 2 weeks of September. So by the time this video goes live, delivery will be there in a month. So if you like the look of this, then by all means go check it out. In fact, everything that I'm going to be speaking to you about today is still available on the website, some of it at a discounted price, so links will be in the description box down below for you to check out. Raja loafers, bada bing, bada boom. I could literally do a whole hour-long video just on them, but we've got a few more pieces to talk you through, so let's keep it pushing. And speaking of a few more pieces, we have the return of the black hooded zip-up sweatshirt, basically a zip-up hoodie. Now, we did this on our first ever release in this purple color. It had some laser etching. Then we brought it back in an olive color, which did really well. And we figured we would end the trio with an all blackout hoodie, which I am so gassed about. The fabric, it's incredible. Now, this was released around the fall winter period, so this is definitely a bit on the thicker side. However, I don't know about you guys, but summer here so far has kind of been all over the place. We're only now mid-August getting to like decent weather. So up until now it's been raining, not necessarily cold, but you know, a hoodie in the evening and you're good to go. So I was able to wear this even today. And I'm sure that once the 2-3 weeks of summer that we get is done, this will be back in the rotation. Black zip-up hoodie, blacked out Riri double-headed zipper. We have two, I don't actually know what these, there isn't a name for these pockets, in the sense that they're not the side pockets that you traditionally find in your hoodies. They sit up from top. So we have one here where you can just slot your hand in, and also we have a pocket here with the black stud. So everything remains monochromatic. We have the 3-piece hood, super big, super structured, and the typical sort of cropped in the body, not necessarily elongated sleeves, but you know, there's got a really nice shape to it. Another final addition that I forgot to mention as well, sorry, the body is primarily made of this jersey material, but the pocket detailing is made of this canvas. So you have this really nice contrasting detail when it comes to the fabric, which means that as it ages as well, you will see slight variation in the colors. And that's something that I am so hyped to see, how people's pieces age in, say, 5 to 10 years. That's what I'm really looking forward to. So that is the black zip-up hooded sweatshirt. Boom. Now, sticking to the tops, we have our finest piece of outerwear just yet, if I may say so myself. Once again, in a black color, we've titled this the Hunt's Black Wool Jacket. And ooh, man, god damn, it is exquisite. Now, if you can tell, this was heavily inspired by the leather, I think it's Swedish, or it could be German. I can't quite recall which country it is. I'm pretty sure both of them had a variation of it, the submarine jacket basically, but we tweaked the shape a little bit and made it a bit more Sangiev. Now, instantly, I don't know if you can see it from all the way over there, but hopefully in the B-roll you'll see it. If not, I'll bring it closer to you. This features a double collar design with this beautiful crocodile embossed brown leather throat latch, which is completely detachable, and you can kind of close it up while still having a standard collar, or you can have both collars standing up and look like an absolute gangster. Come on, bro, it's so fucking fuego. I am obviously insanely biased, but this jacket is so good. I'm immensely proud of it. This was our first ever clothing made in Italy piece. Obviously we get our boots and our shoes made in Italy, but clothing wise we've never done anything in Italy. 2 pockets at either side, and also we have the lace detailing that can be found, boom, on the side. Riri zippers on the sleeve, Riri zippers on the body. And one of the things that you unfortunately will not know about or even feel until you have the piece in hand is this incredible lining in this rich chocolate color, which, god damn, I'm stepping all over everything, which also is a nod to the throat latch and why we decided to go for brown. Now, I know that some people feel a bit iffy mixing brown and black, but I absolutely love it. And yeah, man, I'm wearing a size medium, by the way, in the on body. I'm immensely proud. Yeah, what else can I say? I'm super proud. The fabric itself is So soft. This is a common theme amongst all of our pieces, but this is one where I can truly say we did go above and beyond by trying to make it the best that we could. And sometimes we do those pieces, often, more times than not, they're not like a piece that you make money on. It's more so to kind of, as I say, sometimes a brand needs to have pieces that they can flex their creative muscles on, and sometimes a brand, most times a brand will need a piece that they can make money from. This is not a money maker, this is simply a piece where we wanted to see what we were capable of, and I am beyond excited and happy with what we were able to achieve. Now we're going to move over to the bottoms, and we have these two wild sarams, aka skirts. Now, I know that some people are going to be pissed, but that's cool. This is a piece that I felt so strongly about, and this is definitely not one that I would recommend to do as like a small brand owner, because you know, you gotta, especially as a smaller brand, you gotta make pieces that can sell. Therefore, you can, you know, reinvest and make newer pieces. But I felt so strongly about these saram designs, which is something that I've always wanted to do. I grew up in a culture where men wore these garments called saram in Tamil. In Hindi, it's called lungi. Various cultures and languages have various names for it. But essentially, it's a skirt. It's a wraparound skirt, which personally, I love to wear over trousers, but of course it can be worn without any trousers if you have the cojones to put it off. Now, in 2025, with everybody's confidence rising up to sky levels, I've seen so many of my own people wearing these. By my own people, I mean like the customers, wearing these by itself, and I just think, oh man, that's so sick. And I think these paired with some tall boots, the right boots for example, but even if it's not the right, just any sort of tall boots, looks absolutely incredible. We have two variation in this 100% lamb's wool, one in a brown, one in a green, and I'm going to bring it closer to the camera, but the pattern is beyond exquisite. Now, one of the key complaints that I always remembered from girls who wore skirts say is the lack of pockets, and we have two pockets at either side on this bad boy. It is a one size fits all because of a wraparound system, and that also adds this beautiful detail to the side. I just love having things hanging out of the side of my trousers. You guys know this if you've been following the channel for years, when I always used to have a scarf around my belt loops. This kind of plays into that same idea, having these things just hang to the side. I just think it makes for a neat little styling touch. And yeah man, absolutely buzzing about this. We only have a handful of these on the website. Now obviously, them being a bit wild, I wasn't going to go ahead and produce like hundreds in each color, so we were very conservative with it. And so far, everybody that has received their their sarams have been ecstatic with it, and it's provided a new realm to style and have fun with. So that's the saram. We've spoken about the hoodie, we've spoken about the jacket. To be fair, there are a bunch of samples that haven't gone into production that I could be speaking about, but that's on you to let me know whether you would love to see that or not. And then sticking with the bottoms, last but certainly not the least, we have the black parachute cargo pants. Chef kiss. Once again, I guess that is something that we've been doing a lot more recently. Really trying to push ourselves as to what our capabilities are, and then just creating incredible garments that we can truly be insanely proud of. So we have this 100% recycled Japanese nylon, water repellent, not resistant, which just means that it can, if it's like a light or medium shower, fine, you're good. If it's like a heavy downpour of rain, probably not best to wear these because you will get soaked. We have the Cobrax hardware everywhere. So we've got the Cobrax at the waist. Now, this one in particular, what's special about them is that they feature that sliding method. So you pop it in, slide it, and then super safe. Now the other buttons are just your standard, well, there's nothing standard about them, but they're your standard Cobrax poppers. The reason people tend to go for Cobrax is because the quality is just absolutely amazing, and the finish on them and the weight, everything about it is absolutely perfect. And last but certainly not the least, at the very bottom, you have two huge Riri zippers. Now I'm going to put this to the side and just show you one leg. If you leave it just zip down, it kind of has a straight leg to it. If you unzip it, it goes into a wide bootleg flared cut with the extra piece of fabric that can be found behind the zipper. And last but certainly not the least, on the inside of the leg, you've got this little toggle, which allows you to pull it and make them skinny. So if you wanted like a tapered look, you could do so. And the band actually tucks in really neatly on the inside of the garment, so this isn't just out and about. Of course, if you wanted to, you could flick it out, but naturally it just sits on the inside. And those are the black parachute cargo pants. So happy about these. But that concludes this video. God damn, I forgot how it was like filming these pickups video, if you will. Just speaking off the dome, nothing planned, nothing rehearsed. If the information is out, it's out. If not, then I've just missed my opportunity to do so. But yeah, man, those are the pieces that we've been working a lot recently. One thing that is worth noting, that is interesting for me to just see it as well, a lot of black. We used to make a lot more colourful pieces. Now the satins are colourful, but it's still, you know, the hoodie's black, the jacket is black, the trousers are black. Maybe we should spice things up a little bit and bring a little bit more colour. But I'm going to end the video right here. Links to everything can be found in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching, for showing love, for your support and everything. This background situation, by the way, is still a work in progress. Like I said, we might have to install some curtains so it looks a little bit cleaner, or we might just shift this rail to somewhere else within the room. But I kind of like it because we get a good source of light coming in from here, a little bit of light being bounced off the walls over here. This gets extremely technical, nobody cares about this. And so with that being said, have a beautiful day, take care. Peace.